Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt lost when it comes to understanding girls? Maybe you've said the wrong thing, done something awkward, or worse, got completely ignored. It happens to the best of us. But what if I told you that the Roman Emperor, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers of all time, left behind wisdom that could change your entire approach to women and relationships? In this video, I'll break down 10 powerful rules based on Marcus Aurelius's philosophy that every man must know when it comes to the right attitude toward girls. These aren't pickup lines or tricks. They're timeless principles that will help you become a stronger, more confident man who naturally attracts the right people into his life. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video on Stoicism, self-improvement, and life mastery. And stick around till the end because the final rule might just change how you see love forever. Rule number 1. Desire less, respect more. Have you ever really wanted someone so badly that it almost felt like an obsession? Maybe there was a girl in school, college, or even at work, and every time she walked by, your heart raced. You spent hours thinking about her, imagining conversations, and wondering what it would be like if she liked you back. And then nothing happened. Maybe she ignored you. Maybe she was friendly but never really interested. Or maybe she started dating someone else, and you were left wondering, what did he have that I didn't? If you've ever been in that situation, I want you to really think about this. Were you truly interested in her? Or were you more attached to the idea of her? See, there's a huge difference between genuine respect for someone and desperate desire. When you put someone on a pedestal, treating them like they're the prize, you must win. You stop seeing them as a person. You start seeing them as a goal. And when you do that, you automatically lower your own value. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, once said, "Do not let your mind be a slave to what is not in your control." What does that mean for you? It means that the more you chase, the weaker you seem. But the moment you stop desperately craving someone's attention and start focusing on your own self-respect, your own goals, and your own value, you become the kind of person people naturally gravitate toward. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the guys who don't try so hard seem to have women interested in them? It's not magic. It's not luck. It's self-respect. So let me ask you, how much of your time have you wasted thinking about someone who barely thought about you? Be honest. How many nights did you stay awake hoping for a text that never came? Now imagine if you took that energy and put it into yourself. Imagine if you became the best version of yourself, not for her, but for you. When you respect yourself first, you don't chase. You attract. That's the power of desireless attraction. And trust me, it changes everything. Rule number 2. Control yourself before you try to control the outcome. Let me take you back to a moment, one that you've probably lived through. You're texting someone you really like. You've been waiting for their reply, and finally your phone lights up. But instead of the long, engaging message you were hoping for, it's something short. Maybe just a haha or a dry yeah. Your heart sinks. Suddenly your mind starts racing. Did I say something wrong? Are they losing interest? Should I send another message? Or should I wait? And before you know it, you're overthinking every little thing. You analyze past conversations, try to decode emojis like they're ancient symbols, and maybe even change your approach, hoping to get a better response next time. Sound familiar? Here's the brutal truth. You're trying to control something that isn't in your control. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Most guys make the mistake of focusing on how to get a girl to like them. They try to text the right way, say the right things, play mind games, all in an attempt to manipulate the outcome. But in doing so, they completely ignore the one thing they actually can control: themselves. Think about it. Who do you respect more? A guy who is desperate for approval, constantly second-guessing himself? Or a guy who knows his worth, stays calm, and doesn't let small things shake his confidence? Women can feel energy. If you're always anxious, always overthinking, always worried about how she feels, she will notice, and she won't be attracted to it. So let me ask you, how much time have you wasted trying to figure out what a girl is thinking? How many hours have you spent crafting the perfect message, hoping for the perfect reply? Now imagine if you spent that same time working on yourself, improving your confidence, your mindset, your skills. Imagine becoming so focused on your own growth that you naturally radiate confidence without even trying. Because here's the secret. When you control yourself, You don't need to control the outcome. The right people will naturally be drawn to you, and that's how you stop chasing and start attracting. Rule number 3, stop seeking approval. Seek excellence instead. How many times have you tried to impress someone you liked? Maybe you changed the way you dressed, started talking differently, or even pretended to be into things you didn't really care about just to get their attention. Maybe you sent a text and waited, heart pounding, for their reply, and when they didn't respond right away, you felt that sting of rejection. Maybe you cracked a joke in a group hoping she would laugh, but she barely reacted and suddenly you felt invisible. We've all been there. But here's the truth that most guys don't realize. The more you seek approval, the less attractive you become. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and emperors, understood this deeply. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Think about that for a second. Instead of trying to be liked, just be excellent. Instead of seeking approval, seek self-improvement. Let's be real, how many guys do you know who bend over backward trying to please a girl, only to be ignored? And how many times have you seen a guy who doesn't even seem to try, but somehow people are drawn to him? It's not because he's playing games. It's because he doesn't care about approval, he cares about becoming his best self. Women aren't attracted to guys who desperately chase their validation. They're drawn to men who have purpose, confidence, and self-respect. So let me ask you, what are you chasing right now? Are you chasing someone's attention? Or are you chasing your own personal growth? Imagine for a moment that you stopped worrying about what she thought of you. Imagine if, instead of waiting for her reply, you were so busy building your dream life that you didn't even notice how long she took to text back. Imagine if, instead of trying to impress her, you became so skilled, so confident, so powerful in your own life that people naturally wanted to be around you. That's the difference between a man who begs for attention and a man who commands respect. Stop chasing approval. Start chasing excellence. And watch how everything changes. Rule number 4, do not let emotions control you. Have you ever sent a risky text to someone you liked and then stared at your phone, waiting for a reply? Maybe minutes passed, then hours. The anxiety started building in your chest. Your mind ran wild with thoughts. Did I say something wrong? Are they ignoring me? Should I double text? And then, in a moment of frustration, you did something impulsive. Maybe you sent another message, something you regretted. Or maybe when they finally replied, you reacted coldly, acting like you didn't care even though you did. Later, when the emotions faded, you realized, I let my feelings take control. We've all been there. And the reason is simple: when emotions control you, you lose power. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That means when you let your emotions, fear, anger, jealousy run the show, you give away control of your life. Think about it. Have you ever seen a guy who gets angry when a girl takes too long to reply? Or someone who acts overly emotional when they feel ignored? It's unattractive. It's a sign of weakness, not strength. Now let's flip the script. Imagine you sent that same text, but instead of overthinking, you stayed calm. You focused on your own life, knowing that whether they replied or not, you'd be fine. That's the mindset of a man who is in control of himself. Women, and people in general, are naturally drawn to those who are emotionally stable. No one wants to be around someone who is constantly reacting, overthinking, or falling apart over small things. So let me ask you, how many times have you let emotions get the best of you? How many times have you reacted impulsively, only to regret it later? What if instead you practiced self-control? What if you trained yourself to respond, not react? Because here's the truth: when you master your emotions, you master your life. And the moment you stop letting emotions control you, you'll notice something incredible. You'll naturally attract the kind of people who respect that strength. So next time you feel that rush of anxiety, insecurity, or anger, pause, breathe, stay calm. Because true power isn't in how you feel, it's in how you handle what you feel. Rule number 5, never be bitter about rejection. Have you ever liked someone so much that you imagined a whole future with them? Maybe you thought, this is it. This is the one. You spent days, weeks, maybe even months building up the courage to tell them how you felt. And then they rejected you. Maybe they said, I just see you as a friend. Maybe they liked someone else. Or maybe, the worst kind of rejection, they just started ignoring you altogether, leaving you with no explanation. And in that moment, it hurt badly. Rejection can feel like a punch to the gut. It can make you question yourself. Was I not good enough? Was I too much? But here's the thing, you have two choices. You can let rejection make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." In other words, rejection only hurts as much as you allow it to. It's not the event itself, it's the story you tell yourself about it. Most guys take rejection personally. They think it means they're not attractive enough, not interesting enough, not worthy enough. But let's be real, have you ever rejected someone? Not because they were a bad person, but simply because you didn't feel the connection? That's exactly what happened to you. See, rejection isn't a reflection of your worth, it's just a sign that the other person isn't the right match. Now let me ask you, how many times have you held on to rejection for too long? How many times have you replayed conversations in your head, wishing you had said something different? What if, instead of letting rejection break you, you used it to build yourself into someone stronger? Because here's the truth, every successful, confident, and powerful man you admire has been rejected, but they didn't let it make them bitter. They kept moving, kept improving, kept becoming. So next time you face rejection, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead ask, "What can I learn from this?" And then move forward like the unshakable man you're becoming. Rule number 6, focus on purpose, not just romance. Have you ever been so caught up in someone that they became the center of your world? Maybe you woke up thinking about them, checked your phone all day hoping for their message, and even changed your plans just to be available when they were free. And then one day they started pulling away. Maybe they lost interest. Maybe they got busy. Or maybe they just stopped seeing you as that guy, the one they were excited about. And suddenly you were left with nothing but a void where that person used to be. If that's ever happened to you, I want you to stop and think, who were you before you met them? What were your dreams? What were your goals? What was your purpose? Because here's the hard truth, if your entire life revolves around a girl, you will lose her. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." And that's exactly what most guys get wrong. They put romance above purpose. They chase love so hard that they forget to chase something even bigger, their own greatness. Think about it, who are the men that women are naturally drawn to? The ones who are constantly available, waiting by the phone? Or the ones who are too busy building something meaningful to be desperate for attention? Imagine two guys. One of them spends his entire day texting, waiting, hoping for validation. The other wakes up, hits the gym, works on his goals, improves himself daily, and doesn't even have time to wonder if she's thinking about him. Who do you think she finds more attractive? So let me ask you, what are you building? What is your mission? If romance disappeared from your life today, would you still have something driving you forward? Because here's the truth, when you focus on your purpose, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. Women respect men who have direction. They admire those who are chasing something bigger than just a relationship. So instead of chasing love, chase excellence. Build yourself into a man of value. And when you do that, you won't have to chase anyone. They'll come to you. Rule number 7, be mysterious. Don't reveal everything at once. Have you ever met someone you were really into, and you wanted them to know everything about you? Maybe you started texting all day, telling them your life story, sharing your thoughts, your dreams, your past, your struggles, hoping that by opening up completely, they'd feel closer to you. And at first, maybe they seemed interested. But then something strange happened. The excitement started fading. The deep conversations turned into short replies. And suddenly you realized you had become too easy to figure out. Has this ever happened to you? Here's the thing, mystery is powerful. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The secret of all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious." What does that mean? It means that what is not immediately obvious is often what holds the most power. And that applies to relationships too. Think about the most attractive people you've met. Were they the ones who told you everything about themselves on day one? Or were they the ones who made you curious, the ones who made you want to learn more? Most guys make the mistake of thinking that if they share everything right away, they'll form a deep connection. But what actually happens is they remove the sense of mystery and excitement. Imagine watching a movie where the entire plot is explained in the first 10 minutes. Would you still be interested in watching the rest? Probably not. Now imagine if you were the kind of person who left people curious, the kind of guy who didn't overshare, who didn't try to prove himself, who didn't rush to be understood, but instead let people slowly discover him over time. That's powerful. So let me ask you, when was the last time you let someone truly wonder about you? When was the last time you let a conversation breathe. Instead of rushing to fill every silence, next time you're talking to someone you like, don't try to convince them to like you. Instead, let them discover you. Because here's the truth, what is unknown is intriguing. And when you become the kind of person people want to figure out, you'll never have to chase attention again. Attention will come to you. Rule number 8, don't try to impress, let them be impressed. Have you ever been on a date or talking to someone you really liked, and you felt this urge to prove yourself? Maybe you started talking about your achievements, your job, your plans, or how interesting your life is, hoping that they'd see you as special. Maybe you name-dropped people you knew, told stories that made you seem more successful, or even exaggerated certain things just to get a reaction. But instead of being impressed, they just smiled politely, nodded, and the conversation slowly lost its spark. Has that ever happened to you? If it has, here's the truth: the moment you try too hard to impress someone, you actually become less impressive. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time talking about what a good man should be one." In other words, stop talking about how great you are, just be great. Think about the people who naturally draw others in. They don't go around bragging or trying to prove their worth. They simply live in a way that speaks for itself. And because they don't crave validation, people are naturally intrigued by them. Now let's flip the script. Imagine you're talking to someone, and instead of trying to make them like you, you just relax. You enjoy the moment. You don't try to sell yourself. You let them come to their own conclusions. That kind of confidence is magnetic. So let me ask you, how many times have you caught yourself trying to prove your worth to someone? How many times have you over-explained, overshared, or tried too hard to make them see your value? What if, instead of trying to impress, you focused on just being present? What if you allowed your actions, your mindset, and your confidence to speak louder than words? Because here's the truth, people respect what they have to figure out on their own. If you truly have value, you don't need to convince anyone of it. They'll see it for themselves. And when you live this way, something incredible happens. You stop chasing approval, and you start attracting real admiration. So don't try to impress, let them be impressed. Rule number 9, don't chase, attract. Have you ever found yourself constantly making the first move? Always texting first, always trying to keep the conversation going, always planning the next meetup? Maybe you told yourself, if I just show her how much I care, she'll see my worth. But instead of drawing her closer, it felt like she was slipping further away. The more effort you put in, the less effort she gave. And then one day, she stopped replying altogether. Has this ever happened to you? Here's the harsh truth: chasing someone never makes them value you. In fact, the more you chase, the more they lose interest. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." In simple terms, the more you cling, the more you suffer. Most guys think they need to win a girl over by constantly proving themselves. But what they don't realize is that true attraction isn't forced, it's natural. Think about the people in your life who you're most drawn to. Are they the ones desperately seeking attention? Or are they the ones who seem perfectly fine on their own, who don't need anyone's approval to feel whole? When you chase, you give off an energy of neediness. You send the message that your happiness depends on someone else's attention. And trust me, that is not attractive. Now let's flip the script. Imagine, instead of chasing, you focused on your own growth. You became so confident, so purpose-driven, so self-assured that people naturally gravitated toward you. That's the difference between chasing and attracting. So let me ask you, how many times have you found yourself chasing someone who wasn't giving you the same energy back? How many times have you ignored your own worth just to get their attention? What if, instead of running after people, you became the kind of person they wanted to run toward? Because here's the truth, you don't chase what's truly meant for you. It comes to you effortlessly. So stop chasing. Build yourself. Become someone so valuable that others can't help but want to be around you. And when you do that, you'll never have to chase again. Rule number 10, know when to walk away. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew deep down that someone wasn't treating you right, but you still held on? Maybe they stopped making an effort. Maybe they took you for granted. Maybe they only reached out when it was convenient for them. And yet you stayed. You kept trying. You told yourself, maybe if I do more, they'll finally appreciate me. But they never did. Instead, the more you stayed, the more they pulled away. The more you gave, the less they valued it. And one day, you looked in the mirror and realized you had lost yourself trying to hold on to someone who wasn't even holding on to you. Has this ever happened to you? Here's the truth: staying in the wrong situation never makes it right. Marcus Aurelius once said, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" And this applies to relationships too. The pain of holding on to the wrong person is far worse than the pain of letting go. Most guys make the mistake of thinking that if they just try harder, things will change. They think that if they keep proving their worth, one day, she'll wake up and realize how much she needs them. But here's the hard reality: if someone doesn't see your value, forcing them to won't change anything. Think about the most powerful, respected people in the world. Do they beg for attention? Do they stay in situations that drain them? No, they walk away when they're not valued. Now let's flip the script. Imagine, instead of clinging to someone who doesn't appreciate you, you had the strength to say, "I deserve better." Imagine walking away with confidence, knowing that you don't need someone else's approval to be whole. That kind of self-respect is magnetic. So let me ask you, how many times have you held on to someone who wasn't holding on to you? How much longer will you wait for them to see your worth? What if instead of waiting, you walked away with your head held high? Because here's the truth: the moment you have the courage to leave the wrong people behind, you make space for the right ones to enter your life. So know when to walk away and never look back. There you have it. 10 powerful rules from Marcus Aurelius that will transform how you see women, relationships, and yourself. If there's one thing to take away, it's this: the right attitude towards girls starts with the right attitude towards yourself. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more life-changing Stoic wisdom. And remember, women are not the goal. A strong, confident, and wise life is. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.